Hey you guys, what is going on? It's your boy Pladdy here. Today, of course, as usual, I'm joined by Dave, aka the Great Owl, aka Mr. Sake Super Dry. What is going on, dude?
Oh, just chilling on a. It's the holidays. I forget what day it is. Tuesday in the land of the rising sun. Life is good. Life is good.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Um, so, um, couple announcements to make. Next episode, we might have a special guest on. Still working that out. Somebody whose videos I've been watching since like 3 years ago, which is pretty rad. Starting to finally get to work with those people that I've been watching for a really long time that I've wanted to do something with, but just haven't had the chance to. And I might end up starting to put timestamps in the description for those of you guys that don't want to watch a full hour and a half to however long we do it, show. So you can just click on the thing down in the description and go to the part that you want to go to, because not everybody's got time to listen to a full podcast. And
Nice.
yeah, that's about it for announcements and all that stuff. Also, I think we have a name for the podcast. Finally, after 6 episodes, we finally have a name. And that name is, were we going with the Great Potato Podcast, or were we going with the Legit Potato Podcast?
I was happy with either, but you seemed inclined to the great, and there's nothing wrong with potato being great, so I was on board for that as well.
Alright, so I guess we're going to go with the Great Potato Podcast. So,
there we are.
For those of you guys that need a little tagline to look for in the search description thing, I'm going to hickey up at the top. Just type in the Great Potato Podcast and it'll come up. And yeah, so that's it for all the announcements. Anything new on your end?
On my end, no, I'm just excited about that name. I figure, one of the key things in intelligently naming yourself is A, don't make it overly complex so people can find it. Because that's something I notice on the PSN network all the time, where I'm like, if somebody has this ridiculous name with hyphenated areas and letters and symbols, I'm just like, how do you expect anybody to add you or find you? And then second to that, I think we are the only Great Potato Podcast. I don't know if you've checked already, but I feel like, again, we're scoring huge points for originality. We're not going to be confused with any other potatoes. We are our own.
We are the greatest potatoes in the multiverse.
Yeah, so I'm just all stoked on that name.
Yeah,
it's a good choice, strong choice, I believe.
Yeah, well, like I told you when we were talking about it, I feel like the Great Potato Podcast, it incorporates your YouTube name, the Great Owl, and it incorporates something that's completely central to my YouTube channel, and that is potatoes. So
there you
go.
It's a meeting of worlds.
Exactly. So I figured we may as well get movie talk out of the way. So those of you who haven't seen Foxcatcher yet and don't want it spoiled for you, even though it's an old-ish movie, now is your time to skip ahead, maybe 20 minutes, 25 minutes, because we're going to be talking about it and spoiling it and all that good stuff.
Yes, we are.
So here's a spoiler window. 3, 2, 1, done. If you haven't skipped ahead yet, you're now getting the spoiler territory for Foxcatcher. Now, I wanted to get your input on it. See what you thought of the movie first, before I said anything.
I thought it was good. I didn't actually look at the reviews until afterwards. I was trying to go in blind, and I thought it was absolutely excellent. I thought it succeeded on every level. I thought the acting was excellent. I really enjoyed the story. I was constantly wondering, how it would continue developed. I liked the slow burn character development, in conjunction with the excellent acting. I thought was very good. And I felt I kind of identified with the main character in many ways. Like, I came from a sport background, which didn't, and I think a lot of people would, that didn't go, it went somewhere, but it never ultimately led to a career or anything. And those sort of people that you definitely, when you define your life so strongly in one thing, the sort of disillusionment that occurs afterwards when you realize it can either teach you a good thing where you're like, you just have to accept that what interests you and not necessarily the rest of the world, or it can take you down a kind of a dark road like it seems to for the main character in this movie, which is just to feel almost a disillusionment with yourself, where he's like, he wants to have these values, but he can't seem to see how they figure in the rest of his life. So I really identified with the sort of madness of the main character and his frustrations that he was going through. And I thought it was excellent. If and I'm sure I could pick out specific details to get more long-winded, but just to give a brief summary of it, I thought it was absolutely excellent. I think if anything, it would be misunderstood, which I saw that it was afterwards, that people said, that watching paint dry was faster than this. And I was like, you are the people who have that, and I hate to say maybe it's the majority of people, like, are just dense. If you can't see the sort of emotional turmoil and feel that through the movie and feel the kind of like edge that puts you on, where this character could potentially snap and really hurt someone. He's a in a violent sport, he's capable of physically hurting someone very bad, and that people wouldn't feel that. I was just like, oh, you're just nuts that you cannot connect with that. You don't connect with people well if you don't see that, and you're too tuned into sort of that classic immediate gratification and needing it spelled out for you exactly what the way that you should feel, as opposed to kind of like tuning in or observing, and I think that was another good thing, is like, it treated you with intelligence. It treated you like it gave you tons of interesting depth to the characters and subtle detail if you would only look and see. So I can feel myself winding up here, so I'll stop myself before I get going too long, but I thought it was exceptional. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, did you notice any sort of symbolism or like background kind of story at all in the movie?
Symbolism,
because I know I did. This is what I really wanted to hear was if you noticed any of sort of background story that they don't like really tell you in the movie unless you really read into like everything. But yeah.
I suppose. Yeah, you know what? There you go. I probably missed that. I'd love to hear your observations on it. I felt like you could see, I mean, it was clear as day by the end of it, the sort of DuPont, the main character, Steve Carell's character, the sort of broken dreams, that he had, where he's had this like life of luxury, but then his interests were always crushed by his mother was horrible. You could tell, like, that woman was like wretched. Like, with any of the instances that you saw her involved with it, you're like, man, I can see why this guy went nuts. Like, his mom's a lunatic. But aside from that, no, I'd love to hear, maybe I'll be like, oh, and it'll dawn on me. But no, that I couldn't think of anything beyond that.
Oh, okay. So out of 10, what would you rate it?
I would give that movie a solid. I give it a 9. I give it a 9. I thought it was absolutely exceptional.
All right. Well, I really did enjoy the acting. The acting was phenomenal, especially from the two main characters that are mainly known for doing comedy. Like, yeah, that was fantastic. And like you said, the people that thought that movie was slow, that movie's not slow by any means. It's telling you a story, and if you like you don't read a 1,000-page novel to get through it quickly. You read it for the story, right? So
yeah, you got to appreciate it for what it is. Exactly. That's it. It's like it's a different form of art. It's an art that like gives you all these other things, but it doesn't give you that immediate adrenaline rush. It is what it is. You have to enjoy it differently.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I noticed that this movie wasn't so much a story about wrestling. It was, but I feel like it was more a story about mental illness, if anything. Because you can see that both the main characters, Channing Tatum and Steve Carell, I don't remember DuPont, and I don't remember the other guy's name, but you could tell they were kind of in a battle of who's gonna crack first. Who's going to?
Yeah.
And in the end, Steve Carell was the one that cracked in the end, and and I feel like it was more of, a sort of tale of mental illness and, somebody who grew up from nothing, an Olympic athlete, and somebody who was completely pampered their entire life, even though their parents couldn't give two shits about them, and didn't support him at all.
Yes, I think, I guess in an inadvertent way, that's, so we did, I completely agree with that. That was one of the other criticisms I saw of the movie, where it said that, he was playing the character as though he was mentally retarded, or like, he had a mental illness, where I was like thinking to myself, he does. That sort of life that he lived, that sort of like single-minded direction that he had to his life, and then for it to result in nothing, led to a kind of mental disorder, where I've seen lots of athletes like that. These guys who aren't even, I mean, there are tons of brilliant athletes as well, but people whose the majority of their skill is kind of black and white. They're an athlete, they're good at something physically, but they're not brilliant, and they build their life around that experience. And then when it gets pulled out from under them, or it doesn't lead to the result that they expected, it does huge mental damage to them, and can result in somebody like what's his face, Channing Tatum's character, where he just, he's just driven by this one thing and trying to constantly reconstruct whatever values that kind of found him a place in the world, so no, yeah. I completely agree. As a story of mental illness, that's exactly what it was, and then played that much more brilliant because of it, because you're kind of wondering, it's walking between these two worlds. Is it just, what is mental illness? Is it just somebody being upset, or is it somebody being really upset? And, when does it eventually break somebody down? Obviously, Steve Carell in the end was, I would say, more so, because
he was broken. He was broken in the end. You have the. Sorry, go ahead. Oh, you watch Steve Carell. He starts off on his high horse in his big house. And throughout the movie, you can see him go downhill. His horse starts dying. His house starts getting torn down, like metaphorically, not actually speaking. Mm-hmm. And you just see him keep going lower and lower and lower than this kid that he brought in to join his wrestling team.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great observation.
And you could see Channing Tatum's character go on kind of a roller coaster kind of thing, where he goes up and down, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Channing Tatum's character has, in the end, the grounding influence of his brother, who his brother is like, he's actually legitimately purely good, or at least is portrayed that way, where it's like, yes, he can't help that his brother has lived in his shadow, but he's never held him there. It's like the rest of the exterior world has put him to that place, but he genuinely cares for him. He would live humbly. He wouldn't, he was never going to come for money, but then he just got so much money thrown at him that he couldn't, not make the decision to do so in the end. Whereas Carell's character has nothing. He has nothing to support him. And if anything, he has too much, what is it? Not legitimizing. It's not condoning. It's like, basically condoning his behavior, I guess. People who are just like, whatever you want to do, you can do it, And I thought, talking again about, I just wanted to touch on this, the subtle characterization that I really enjoyed. When you first meet him, you're almost feeling like, I guess I should know this guy. I feel almost like Tatum, where I'm like, I guess I don't know this guy. I don't get what the big deal is. And when he introduces himself as a coach, right? He introduces himself as like, somebody who's really into this. And when you know nothing about him at first, because of all the wealth that surrounds him, it was this great trick for the watcher, where you were like, oh, I guess maybe he is like, he's this wealthy guy who's really into wrestling, and he's taken an interest and wants it to happen, where actually he's just this incredibly spoiled child who could have said anything with that money behind him. And somebody would be like, oh, I guess I have to take him seriously because he's backed by this money. That's going into subtle characterization. And when he finally snaps, I thought this was really good. The scene where you got Mark Ruffalo or whatever, where he's supposed to say that he thinks of DuPont as a mentor. Do you remember that? That scene's quite strong.
Yeah, when they're filming that documentary.
And eventually, like, that's how it's... I thought that was good, too, because you kept expecting this guy to... he had such an interesting... He was so good, you were like, now, is he going to be the kind of good character that eventually says, no, I won't stand for this DuPont monster. I know that he is not what he says he is. Or you kind of had to respect him in the end when he does break that moral to look after his family, where that's how moral he is he'll compromise his own principles. Where I was like, that's incredibly thoughtful, where he eventually is willing to say, is like, he's kind of a mentor to me, and he admits to it. But the thing was, when you watch at the end of the movie, right before DuPont goes to kill him, right? Goes to kill Dave, the older brother.
Yep.
He's watching the documentary that was made about about him being a great coach. And something that they say when they sit David down to get him to legitimize DuPont and say, yeah, he's a mentor to me, is, you're like the final aspect of this film. We're going to get you speaking, and you're going to say this, and, whether he's saying it outright or not, it's going to legitimize everything DuPont wants legitimized, that he is this great coach. And when DuPont's watching that movie right before he goes to kill him, at the end of the movie, it arrives, or his documentary finishes that he's watching, and the scene is not there in the movie with Dave saying that, I think he's a mentor. And you could see, even when he said it, they probably wouldn't be able to use it in the movie. And I felt like that's what finally made him snap, where he was like, I didn't get the respect I demanded from this guy, and I deserve it. And they did it in such a subtle, you have to be thinking about that detail in the movie to be able to catch that, because that whole scene would be another example where people are like, oh, why are we watching him watch this stupid documentary? He's just an asshole. Where it was supposed to, I think, display that final decision where he was like, oh, he wasn't willing to tell people that I was his mentor. I'm going to go kill him now. Did you think that as well, or did you notice that? Or
I honestly did not notice it. I genuinely didn't notice it. I just feel like Steve Carell's character just had enough, because, like, you could tell just that things weren't gonna work out very well between them in the end anyways. So I completely missed it. I was expecting something to happen. That one scene when he brings the gun into the gym, that's when I knew somebody is gonna get shot in this movie. Right there, that's when I knew it. And I didn't know who. I figured it was gonna be Channing Tatum's character, but instead it was his brother. And I mean, that payoff was great. I've never really had that kind of feeling for a character in a movie before, like I did there, because you're rooting for these guys to, basically beat DuPont in a way, and to see that happen. In the end, he doesn't actually die; he actually survives. They say that in the end credits of the movie. I'm not sure if you saw that or not, but that scene alone when he goes to his house and shoots him, that was just really powerful to me, and even without that like kind of foreshadowing or subtlety of the documentary kind of thing,
I was still agree.
Yeah.
I think your point. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, knowing that now, it just makes it even that much better.
Sure, and I feel like they did, man, now it's reminding me of other things I wanted to talk about, but first to touch on what you just said about that scene with the gun where he walks into the gym. It was so... I loved how in your face it was, while being one of the most subtle scenes in the world, where you're like, all he's doing is standing there with the gun, but it's simultaneously the most chilling thing you've ever seen, where you're like, this is so wrong. You should never do that. That is the behavior of someone who's completely cracked. But I love how they could achieve that without him saying a word. He just walks in with the gun, and I was like, wow, that's so hard to achieve something with that impact without saying anything. I thought that was really, really good. I really agree about just how good that scene was. And one other scene I really, really liked, and I kind of had to look back on it in retrospect, and also for the sound design, I thought was exceptional. When they started the movie, I don't know if you noticed this as well, the sound was amped up way more in certain scenes, and I think to create that additional tension. One specifically was when, what was it? It was Channing Tatum goes into the gym where his brother is talking to the guys from Wrestling USA, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're wrestling with each other. I just found like every hit, every touch they had in there was incredibly visceral. And you were like, God, man, this is tense. It's weird. It's like two people just like training with each other, but it felt incredibly intense. And one thing I really liked, and this was another way where nothing is being said, but it just shows you how you can create character development without speech, was how Tatum, who is frustrated and just generally kind of, a loose cannon, like he loves his brother deeply, but, this guy is a bit cracked. He does that brutal headbutt move where he and like the sound of that impact. Do you know what I'm talking about, right?
Vaguely.
At the very first scene where Channing Tatum is wrestling his brother at the very beginning of the movie, and he basically headbutts his brother, and it makes his brother bleed, and he like has to spit out blood and like wipe himself off when they're first wrestling.
Oh yeah.
And his brother doesn't even miss a beat, doesn't even bat an eyebrow, doesn't get upset for a nanosecond, just accepts it and moves on and forgives him. And that, like, as soon as it happened and he had no response, I was like, this guy is a pillar, that he would be able to take that cheap shot and not take it personally and move on as though it never happened, where I thought that was as an immediate characterization for his character to show how strong he was mentally to not react to his brother. And like, and after they drive home, they're like parked there and he's about to drop him off and he's like, give me a hug. And he like loves him that deeply, that that didn't even figure in his mind that his brother, made him bleed, did this incredibly cheap, emotional knee-jerk reaction to kind of like losing to his brother, because he says, close your hips, Mark, close your hips. And like, you can see, that's what kind of prompted him to like lose his cool and headbutt his brother. They just seem to have that throughout the whole movie, whether it was the gun scene or it was the headbutt or it was just all over the place. These places where it was like, this is saying so much about this person and they're not even speaking. That's an art to pull that off. So
yeah.
So it seems we are in agreement that it was quite a good film then.
Yeah, I don't really give it a 9 out of 10. I give it a solid 7.5.
Okay, I think I was too generous with a 9. I give it an 8. My immediate inclination was an 8.
All right. Well, yeah, there you go. So I guess we're kind of meeting in the middle there.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So that was movie talk. Yeah.
Nice.
There we go. Time to wrap it up. Show's over. Sorry, guys. Yeah. So, did you have any topics that you wanted to touch on, or?
I thought I saw something the other day, which I thought was interesting because we got into a discussion of it briefly, where you were talking about the new creative aspect to Twitch, right? That they have that creative channel that you could show somebody, like if I were doing creative writing, they might watch that or anything.
Yeah.
And I liked how I saw some guy commenting on how they really need to, it's all this new ground with like, he's like, Twitch creative is the new Hortopia, where it's basically when you see slutty streamer girls who are like, giving gamer girls a bad name, it's probably going to happen in the exact same way in streaming for creative, where it'll be like, oh, I'm doing this, but it's just a reason for a chick to have her tits out and collect donations.
Well, that's the thing. That's the
And
thing on
I was
Twitch, though. They're they're straight up banning people for having shirts that are too low cut. Guys can't stream without their shirt on. If Twitch deems anything inappropriate, like if you're not super conservative, then you're gonna get banned.
and I was wondering, what's your opinion on that? Like, do you think that that's too strong? Do you think there's a middle road? Do you think it should be the Wild West? What do you think about that in terms of censorship?
I mean, I feel like there's a place for everything, and on Twitch, Twitch initially started as Justin TV. I'm not sure if you knew that or not. Um,
That
but
name rings a bell. I didn't realize that, but the
yeah,
name rings a bell.
yeah, and pretty much anything went on Justin TV until Twitch became a thing, and then Twitch what started off as basically everything, and then it slowly died down and went to gaming, and then these you know, all these different categories for it and everything came out, and there were these chicks that realized, hey, if I show my tits on stream, I could make some money, and then that sprung up cam whoring.
Yes.
Yeah, and now that's a thing. So I feel like any of those chicks that want to show their tits on Twitch should be on a different website.
Yeah, okay, so
There's
that's what
plenty
you
there's
think.
plenty of sites where they can go do that, and Twitch is not the place for that. But at the same time, you know how gaming culture kind of has its stigma of fucking, a bunch of guys, sausage fest, everybody's a fucking virgin and shit. So I guess that kind of brings a good name to gaming. So I'm kind of a 50-50 shot on it, you know.
Okay. Okay.
I don't feel
I
like I don't feel like gamers have anything to prove. Like I know a lot of people that are gamers that are complete nerds that have gotten laid before. And I don't know a lot of people that have played nothing but sports their entire life that haven't gotten laid in their life. Um, it's I don't know how I feel about it, honestly. I feel like
Yeah,
there's a
it's
place
interesting.
for it, but I don't feel like the place is Twitch.
Okay. Okay. I was, the pendulum swung in many directions for me when I first like kind of saw this, and when I even heard about it, I didn't realize it was so much a thing. And initially, I was up on a high horse, and I was like, yeah, like, what are you doing? This is for gaming, and you're basically corrupting that aspect of it, and you're turning it into like these lonely losers who haven't discovered that porn is free on the internet and get like a crazy rush from giving you donations, so you'll go sign a blackboard behind you and like, shake your ass for the camera and stuff. Like, you should get out of here, scare you out of town. But then I thought to myself, I was like, I really am against censorship of any kind. And I started to think, it really does boil down to, I think here's the thing. Everybody's talking about, or like a lot of people seem to talk about the idea that if you allow it, then that's all it will become. But I think that that's really silly. I don't think that that's true at all. I think that Twitch, first and foremost, is a bunch of guys who really like, or girls, guys and girls who like games and go there to watch people play games. And those people get massive viewership. And they wouldn't go to that channel with the titties out because they wouldn't see any sort of gaming that was of an interest to them.
Oh,
They would
sir,
see like some.
you have no idea. You got
Um,
there are quote unquote cam whores that they do the usual shit, strip naked, fucking do whatever they do, and they play games as well. If they
okay,
if there's a fucking horny 12-year-old that's looking for porn to get off to and some chick playing video games, you'll find it. Twitch is not where you want to go if you're looking for quote unquote the good stuff.
I guess the way that I looked at it was, I eventually I came around to thinking, I was like, I think there's space for everybody. And if a chick wants to go there and get naked and play video games, it's just like you were talking about the other day where we discussed the adult restrictions that can be placed on the service for PlayStation. if you don't want your kid watching some chick that you know is just gonna, wear a, like push-up bra and be ridiculous, then block that chick's channel. But then, allow your kid to go on and watch whatever else that you deem as an appropriate channel or whatever. But I thought, like, life is hard enough trying to carve out a living, and if a chick can get people to watch her playing video games, there is always infinite shades of gray where people are like, she's just a slut. And it's like, no, she's sort of like the softest core slut you've ever seen. She's got her boobs out and she's playing a game not that well, and people donate to her, where like it's not porn. It's like a soft porn.
Yeah.
And then I didn't, like I say, if you can then regulate it, it just seemed to me where I if anything, I was like, man, you should just start, like, I guess the way that it works, though, the magic on Twitch is, I was like, man, I should start my own streaming service where I welcome all these cam whore style chicks. But the magic is that they get to act like on Twitch that that's not what they are.
Yeah,
Where
exactly.
none of them want to admit that they are softcore porn. They would say, no, I'm a gamer girl. And that's the magic, because they're like, oh, I'm a gamer girl, but it just so happens, where if you destroy that illusion, they wouldn't want to sign up for your site, where if you were like, you're only allowed to wear bikinis, so you wouldn't be able to, you have to have that kind of magic middle ground. But I thought, in the end, I was like, no, screw censorship. Just be a responsible parent or whatever else, block that channel. And if these chicks want to put their titties out, then let them put them out and let them have an audience, because I don't think that they're actually taking away from, like, me. If I want to see somebody play Destiny or play like a cool game, I'll go watch somebody who's good at it play it. I will not watch one of these chicks. If I want to see boobies, I'll go look at boobies, But then that I thought it was overkill that they were like banning people and stuff. Or I was like, why? Like, what's the point if you have these parental blocks that you can put on, and if that person's carving out a living, at least they're not in hardcore porn. Not even that I think that would be bad. That's just another personal choice. I'm liberal as shit or whatever, but but I prefer a Wild West scenario to this, like, where they don't really know what is legitimate.
Yeah. Well, okay. So there's two things that I feel are wrong about it.
Okay.
One of them, on Twitch, you can't you can't restrict specific channels for somebody to watch. You have to have an account to watch 18 plus channels, but your favorite, whoever, could be an 18 plus channel, because they may not swear on their YouTube channel because they edit those videos, but if they swear on their Twitch stream, they're going to be classified as an 18 plus channels, and those kids that want to watch their favorite Minecraft YouTuber or whatever can't watch their favorite Minecraft YouTuber streams because their parents don't let them have a Twitch account, don't let them say, yeah, you can watch this, blah, 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 but you can watch this person on YouTube, which is kind of lame. And feminists are going to have a field day on this topic, if any feminists are watching. Hardcore feminists, fuck you. Yeah, no. It's kind of an equality thing as well, Guys, like there's a smaller market for guys showing off their chests and whatnot on stream than there is for women.
But
and if
the
and if
thing
not
that they're
and
sorry,
and
go
if,
ahead. I cut you off.
But no, if not everybody can do it, then why should one specific person be allowed to do it and make all this money off of it? But these guys over here that built this to what it is today can't do the same thing and make the same amount of money off of it. It's kind of a balancing act here.
Okay, but that argument to me, that's kind of well, I look at it this way. You know what? If you want to be like straight up about it, where you're like, yeah, they don't get that equal share of the market. Most women aren't as good as guys at video games, and there's a massive market there for the guys. The girls are better. I mean, this is, I suppose, demeaning for the women. I mean, in the end, they're still losing. They're better at taking their shirts off or pushing up their titties. The men are better at actually playing the games and drawing an audience from that. And I would say that the audience is equal for those. Like, there's thousands and thousands and thousands of kids who want to see good video game playing as much as there are horny men or women who want to see some big juicy titties.
Well, that's the thing, though. Um, Gaming has gotten like people wanting to watch skilled games or skilled players at games. That market has been going downhill for a long time now.
Oh, really?
It's been going downhill for a long time, and that started back when Call of Duty 4 first came out. And
People are
like
less interested in watching skilled players. What
people
man,
people have people have lost interest in watching people really good at the game, and they either want to see titties or somebody that's really fucking funny. And some guys aren't that funny, but they're good at games, and some chicks, have titties. They suck at the game, but they can make some money off of it. And not everybody can have a great personality.
I see what you're saying. Okay, you see that's something I hadn't realized, because I mean, I guess a lot of what I've watched in competitive gaming or gaming generally is whatchamacallit, StarCraft, and that still has the same audience. But you made a point there as well, that if you're funny, where again, hate to say this as well, guys are way funnier than girls. It's
Yeah.
like an evolutionary aspect of men, that to compete and to find a mate, that's one of the skills men have to develop. Women don't have to be funny. Men have to be funny. That's like, and I will not apologize for that. That's like men needing muscles to attract a mate. They just as much need to be funny to do so. And so that probably still, there you go. That's an equal market still for men, because men absolutely have the edge in that market, that they would be funnier than women. Like, that's why I say I really do think that there's no one. A woman with boobies is not taking away from a funny guy's audience.
Well,
they'll go to them for different reasons.
At the same time, though, you think a 12-year-old is gonna watch some funny guy or some chick with titties?
I think a lot of 12-year-olds would watch the funny guy. I think they'd like seeing their game and laughing. I think it could go either way.
Well, then you misunderstand a lot of 12-year-olds.
Then yeah, maybe right. No, the fact is,
when I was 12, I would have been so happy to watch some chick with big titties playing a game, regardless of her skill level or how entertaining she was.
Touche. Like I say, maybe I have to accept that fact. Maybe they are taking from the audience. That's the one thing where I'd finally be like, well, that's not cool.
I don't feel like they're taking from anybody. Like I said, there's a website for that if you want to do it. You don't got to be super hardcore, Yeah. The ones that are super hardcore make more money, but there's still multitudes of websites for that. There is like maybe 2 good websites for people to actually play games.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe like YouTube Gaming and Twitch. Those are the only ones for people to play video games. There are plenty of sites for these chicks to fucking go show their tits and whatnot and make money off of it.
This is true. I get, like I say, though, the magic is, though, that they're not, right? That they're doing it to play games. Where they could never do it. They'd never be able to make the leap between the two, where it's this like ridiculous middle zone, of like, but there's a game on the screen, sort of. Well, my boobs are out. Come on.
Yeah, it's that you see that little pixel down in the bottom left hand corner of the screen, that little white pixel right there. That's gameplay. That is straight up pure Silver 1 Counter-Strike gameplay.
It is funny, man. I'd like, just to go on a tangent here, like seeing some of these chicks get trolled, though, by like 4chan comes on and then starts like putting voice to chat in their stream, and I was just like, that's me getting kind of mean about it, but I was like, oh damn it, it's funny. And and that's like, I was like,
everybody wins,
want
though.
That to go away?
Everybody wins in that case, though, because these chicks are making money.
Yeah.
We get entertainment out of it.
Yep.
And everybody wins.
Oh yeah, man. Their channel, like the guy was pointing out, when those sort of things happen, when they get trolled, their channel gets even bigger. Because people go in to see what the drama's about, Everybody loves a train wreck. That's my favorite.
Yeah, and an hour and a half like an hour and a half amount of time, they're getting like $1 like every 30 seconds. Like that's a fair bit of money from, an
Yep.
hour and a half. Sometimes people come in with big donations like 10, $20 just to say fuck you.
Yep.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
you know,
It's definitely. I was like, wow, what a. And I loved it too because the guy went on to talk about creative. He's like, this is the new place that they're gonna pop up, and he shows this video of this chick, and all she's doing with her boobs out is just cutting cucumbers. She's like, I like to, cut them like this, and he's like, you should know, to deal with a cucumber should take less than a minute, and this chick is chopping cucumbers for like an hour, and he's like, just putting them in a bowl. He's like, this is cooking? No, it was really funny. He had some ridiculous name for his channel too. It was like Space Lord. He had a great sense of humor. There you go. Like you said, that sense of humor.
yeah,
And I hate to say it too, it's kind of like these guys, like on the Daily Show. These chicks provide for these kind of like comedic burn channels. It's just fodder. They're like, oh, I make a career off of making fun of these women. It's just hilarious.
yeah. The Daily Show's been going downhill lately.
I was not terribly impressed with the guy that they chose as the new host or whatever. He didn't seem that good, and I haven't watched it at all. I mean,
Well,
I didn't think it would do well. Go on though. Tell me why. What's some of the details there?
so the guy that they brought on, his name is Trevor Noah.
Yeah.
He is African. And basically the show is hey guys, I'm Trevor Noah. I'm African and I'm going to make fun of your politics even though I'm not even American. That is basically
He's not American?
No, he's African. He is South African.
That's but not no yeah, but like not his heritage, with no citizenship in America?
Well, no, he obviously probably has like some sort of work visa or something.
Okay, but he is not an American
But
citizen.
he makes it a point to make fun of all white people, even though he's half white, and he makes it a point to make fun of American politics. And I'm all for, if it's funny, it's not offensive, but I'm Canadian, and I'm offended for Americans because that's just retarded.
That's what they were always doing before, though. How is that any different from what they did before?
Jon Stewart was American.
Well, I just mean in terms of the content. Like they just made fun of American politics the whole time.
Oh no, it's the fact that the guy that they have on isn't even American.
Okay.
He's not Canadian, he's not Mexican. He's from Africa.
Okay. So you're saying if you're going to make fun of the country's politics, you got to be from there.
You got to be from within a certain, area. Like if you're going to make fun of American politics, make sure you're from North America. If you're going to make fun of African politics, make sure you're actually from Africa,
Why does that have to be that way though? Don't you as an objective observant have like almost a clearer perspective?
What do you mean?
Because he's not from there and he's not embroiled in it, then that would give him a clearer perspective of the situation.
Well, no, because the Daily Show is meant to make fun of the American politics. It's not meant to have a super clear dead set vision on anything. It's supposed to make fun of absolutely everything that's going on. Make it funny and just make fun of it because of how much of a clusterfuck American politics has been.
And that's what I'm saying though. Like that, you'd think the best person for that would be somebody who wouldn't be biased. Somebody who could see it all for what it was, which that would seem like you would be if you were from a different country.
Well,
or
yeah,
do you think he doesn't understand it or something?
I feel like it's like somebody coming to Japan, living there, and saying, wow, this is a shit country. I want to change this, that, and I'm gonna make fun of that because that's stupid. You're coming to somebody else's country and saying this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. You should do everything this way.
Okay,
that's essentially what it is.
All right.
So
I see what you're saying. And is that the gist of it, or is there anything more specific that you take issue with?
That's pretty much the gist of it. There's nothing like super duper specific aside from the fact that the guy's not from anywhere near North America. I know there's definitely certain Americans that don't take offense to it, and to those people, okay. Hey man, you smart, you loyal. but to the people that do take offense to it, I understand, and if I was there and if I was in their shoes, of course I would take offense to that. That's literally somebody taking my culture and tearing it to shreds, and they're not even from the same culture as me.
I see. I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I mean, and I'm in no position to comment because I haven't. Like I said, I mean, I just had I'm almost like more biased in the way that I was like when I saw him, I was like, he doesn't seem funny to me. I'm not
He
gonna
really
watch.
isn't funny. You
Yeah.
people telling jokes about white people in Africa all the time. Just well, I don't mean like on the show. I mean like his stand-up comedy specials. He literally only
Yeah.
talks like he only talks about white people. The first time he came to America, and how Africa is not how white people perceive it.
Okay.
That's basically a stand-up comedy. So, hey, if you don't mind listening to comedy about Africa, he's definitely for you.
I see. I see. Okay. Yeah. He seemed really bland when I watched him. I was like one of these people who it's like the way he comes off. It's like he's trying to convince you that he's funny. Where
Yeah,
I was like, I just like as hard as you're trying, you don't seem funny. There's nothing relaxed. It seems all tense. It seems like, I don't know, comedians are supposed to have nothing to prove. And it always seemed like when I watched him, it was like he was trying to prove something.
yeah,
Um, yeah. Oh, okay. Interesting. Yeah. Maybe I even just check it out to see what has become of it then.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. It's gone way downhill. The ratings have gone way downhill. I
Okay.
mean, TV shows in general, everything's going downhill because you got Netflix and all that kind of shit, and I'm sure pretty soon everything's gonna start airing on Netflix, which is gonna be great for everybody that's got Netflix. But is Netflix in Japan?
Yeah. Yeah. Now it is. It finally came to Japan. I've never set it up, but it is here.
Oh, you should definitely get
It's
it or set it up.
Yeah, I would like to. I mean, it makes perfect sense. It's affordable and it gives you hundreds of convenient shows to watch. And I'm like, yeah, no, Netflix is amazing. It's the real deal.
Yeah,
Um, no, I could look because I know that it's like offered through the PlayStation. You can get it set up. I've
yeah.
just
There's like an app.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I might be hitting that up. That would be cool.
All right. So I was thinking, would you rather's are always funny, and
Yeah.
since it's not the end of the show yet, like we're not even near the end of the show yet, I figured we'd do it in the middle so the people that don't always watch to the end of the show get a little taste of our comedic would you rather chops
Yeah.
and all that
All
good
right.
stuff. And so basically, for those of you guys who don't listen, it's usually about 2 rounds, 2 questions apiece. I ask 2 questions, he asks 2 questions. Altogether, we each ask 4 questions. Um, and yeah. Would you like to start, or would you like me to start?
Please start. So I'm like trying to think here as we go. This would you rather?
All right. So this is one I heard from a friend that asked me, and I figured it was a good one. Would you rather watch your parents have sex once a
Oh
year
damn.
for the
Once
rest
a
of your
year.
once a year for the rest of your life, or would you rather join in twice a year for 3 years?
I'm gonna go straight for the have to watch them. This is
That's for the
I
rest of your
feel a
life.
cold chill down my spine. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I ain't joining in. You fucking kidding me? That's the most brutal. Oh god. Talk about not starting light. That was savage. I feel violated.
when do I ever
God,
start late though?
No, that's
never-
true.
Yeah.
I gotta do something vicious in return for that. Okay, so was it 2 apiece? You're gonna do one more?
Yeah, I'll do one more, and then you ask 2, and then, vice versa. All right. Would you rather let Jay-Z masturbate in front of your face and then swallow a cup of his semen, or
What is this?
suck him off for 10 minutes but he doesn't ejaculate?
This is I'm not answering that question. I was like, how come it has to be so brutally homoerotic? Why that these
Okay.
sound different question, please. I
Uh.
choose neither. I have broken the matrix.
Uh. Hmm. All right.
Yeah.
Would you rather save a family from a house fire, guaranteed to be local hero status and front page in national newspapers, or let them die and be Superman for the rest of your life without the ability to help other people in any way?
Say that one more time. Say it one more
Okay,
time.
I may have misread what I had written down,
Okay.
but would you rather save a family from a house fire and be guaranteed local hero status on a front page national news on front page national news, TV and newspapers, or let them die and be Superman for the rest of your life, but without the ability to help other people in any way?
Um,
That's really not a good one,
Superman would be.
actually.
It's too easy. Like both are kind of actually cool options. It's okay. I'll jump in here. I will.
Well, I actually have a better one, but you can go ahead and
Oh,
answer.
okay, cool. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it would be saving from the house fire, because that
Okay.
one was just really poorly worded. Okay. Would you rather get caught raping a chicken, or be raped by an emu with no one there to help? And that is an emu.
That is an emu. Wait, I need to Google an emu.
It's kind of like an alpaca. I think it's part of the
Oh my god!
camel family.
That mean. Look at that mean son of a bitch. God, they're horrible. Would
Am
I
thinking
rape
of
a
the same
chicken,
thing, emu?
or so I rape a chicken, or an emu rapes me? Those are my
Oh.
options.
The emu is a bird. My bad. Yeah, an emu will rape you with no one there to help, or you have to get caught raping a chicken.
Raping a chicken. That's to suggest that there'd be a situation where you wouldn't have to rape one. Like you can do it legit.
I mean, yeah. Either way, you're getting caught.
I. Oh, good God. I would rather rape a chicken. I could blame it on something else. I'd be like, I was out of my mind. I don't know what happened.
But at the same time, but how many people you think are gonna believe that? You're gonna be known as a chicken fucker. For
I
the
suppose
rest of your life.
this is the personal peace question. It's like you can have personal peace with yourself that you didn't get raped by an emu, or you can have public peace and that no one saw you rape a chicken.
Well, no, everybody saw you raping a chicken.
Or sorry, yeah, you won't have peace in your public life because everyone saw you rape the chicken.
I mean, you could always say, "Hey, man, I was on drugs. I was really drunk." But I mean, let's be honest. You're always gonna be known as that guy that fucked that chicken.
He fucked a chicken once. Oh my God. I'm gonna rape the chicken.
All right.
Fine. I don't want to get raped by an emu. That's not cool, man. All right. So I'm quite content to now ask you some.
All right. I'm ready.
This is
I'm ready.
okay.
Yeah, we got dead air. Everything is all quiet and everything. Yeah, we got dead. And my internet went out. Oh my god, I should probably fix that. My internet went out. Oh no, that's not good. Okay, I don't know what's going on. My internet went out. Yeah. My internet went out. That's not good. I gotta go to Twitter and tell them what's going on. Yeah, my internet went out. Yeah. My internet went out. That's not good at all. Gotta rejoin the call. My internet went out. Oh no. My internet went out. Oh no. Gotta keep talking 'cause dead air is bad. Go. Yeah, gotta keep talking 'cause dead air is bad. Go. My internet went out. Oh. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 doodle doodle do 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 doodle do doodle doodle do 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 doodle doodle do do. Boop doop 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 do 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 boop doop boo. Doop 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 doo doo doop 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 doo doo. Do 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 doop doo doop doo doop doop doo doo doop doo doop doo doop doop doo doo doop 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 boo boop doop doop boo. My internet went out. Hey, my internet went out. Hey, my internet went out. Hey. My internet went out. That's not very good. That is pretty fucking unfortunate. Not good at all. My internet went out. Not good at all. My internet went. I'm trying to call him back now. My internet went out. Hey, we're back. I think. Are we or not? Did it fix or not? Lay possible. Fix Sereno. Fix Sereno Postorino, maybe. Maybe Reno. Hello, hello. Is anybody home? Do 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 no 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 do do little do 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 do. Yeah, technical difficulties are fucking awesome. Yeah. Technical difficulties are in the awesome pants. Yeah. Are we back?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, cool. We are good to go then.
Oh, dude, that was a lot of singing.
That was.
Yeah. Alright, so you had your 2 questions, and then I have 2,
Yes.
and then you have 2, and then, that was the Would You Rather segment. And then we go on to back to normal topics.
Okay, let's see. Question is, would you rather be 4'5" or 7'7"?
7'7".
Yeah?
Because the NBA.
I suppose. You could just kind of find your way into the NBA.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, that was so easy.
Damn it. Okay. Let's try. Let's see. How about this? Would you rather only to be able to whisper or only be able to shout everything?
Huh. I mean, I pretty much already shout everything I ever say.
No, but this has to be true shouting.
Like, lose your voice level shouting?
Yeah.
So then would I lose my voice every time I want to, like, talk to somebody? Or
just one notch down from losing your voice. Just very obnoxiously loud or obnoxiously whispering.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, though. If you are, like, loud, like if you're loud enough for long enough, you're going to lose your voice. So I feel like if you're constantly one notch lower than being able to lose your voice, eventually throughout the day, it would go back to normal. So I would go with the shouting.
Okay, you're going to be a shouter. That would make you interesting. Well, at parties, you could just try and be that really energetic guy. It could work.
Yeah, I mean, most parties that I go to don't really have much loud music, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
You'd have to insist on loud music though. Then you could make it work. It's just because the music's loud.
Yeah, most of my friends that I party with like country, so it doesn't really work.
I see. That would be tough. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Let's go with this. Let's go with. Let me think. Would you rather be the first to die among your close friends or be the last one to die?
I mean, I only really have like 2 or 3 close friends.
Don't dodge the question. So would you die before or after them?
I mean, I don't know.
Ha! Stumped you.
I'd try to say before.
Yeah, before?
Because ain't nobody want to, watch their friends die.
That's true. That's really true. It's I find it's weird for me because like although selfishly I felt like my immediate answer would be the last one to die, where I was like, wow, look at me clinging to nothing, you know?
But realistically, isn't you dying first more selfish?
Um you think, oh, because then you don't have to go through that pain.
Yeah, you don't got to deal with none of that.
Ah,
But
that's
they do.
interesting. I could really sell it that way. That's bizarre. Look at the different. That's a fascinating perspective shift, eh?
Yeah.
Because I thought it would be very selfish to be the one who lives, but then you have to live with that pain. But then I'm like, what pain? I gotta live. Ha ha. Okay, that's interesting. That I think that was a good one. That brought out some interesting perspectives. Okay, there was my two.
All right. Would you rather break both your ankles and have them be broken and sore for like 6 months to a year, or
Yeah.
be a paraplegic?
What
For
fuck?
s-
Break my ankles. Yeah.
No, for the same amount of time. Like
For the same amount of time.
like you would deal with the pain of your broken ankles, and you'll know that they're healed when you don't feel pain in your ankles anymore.
Yeah, I
But-
would go with
or you
broken
could-
ankles.
Or you can feel
Paraplegic.
you can feel no pain, and be a complete paraplegic from your shoulders down. Or is that
No,
quadriplegic?
could be. I'm not sure. Para. I'm not entirely sure. Quadra sounds like full. Yeah, para. Maybe that means your legs, but your
Yeah.
arms still work. I would probably. Yeah, it would do murder to my game with women to be a paraplegic or quadriplegic for like a month. You know, if I had broken ankles, I could still be quite. I don't know, social,
Dude,
even
not
while I was
even.
in pain.
Not
No?
even, dude. Chicks will give you the pity card if you're a paraplegic.
Like a dual paraplegic. The pity? No, I don't. I don't want nobody's pity. I want to have game, and I can't do it if I'm a paraplegic. I'm
You
gonna
can still spit
break
game
them
in your
ankles.
wheelchair.
I suppose so. I don't game from my wheelchair. Do you see how broken that already is? Who games from their wheelchair?
I mean, you wouldn't be able to game from your wheelchair. You'll just be able to spit game from your wheelchair.
That's true. That'd be impressive. Although, actually, you know who's done quite well in that respect is Stephen Hawking. You know, he had a couple marriages, wooed a couple women, all, you know, well, although at one point he got his disease during the one relationship, but, you know, women
He's
like
also-
intelligence.
He's also
the,
worth how much money?
That's true. That's also true. Am I rich if I'm the paraplegic?
No. You're the same. You're the same way you are now. Same place, same everything. You know.
Oh god,
you're-
well,
if you're-
I'm definitely going with the
If
ankles then.
you have a girlfriend at the time, then I'll allow her to be your nurse for the 6 months to a year. I'll allow it.
All right, yeah, ankles. That final answer is ankles.
Really, that's a lot of pain.
It is. I hear that.
You won't be able to walk either way.
It's true. I'd like to have the if I'm a quadriplegic or whatever, I won't have use of my arms. I don't want to only be able to speak for a month.
No, 6 months to a year.
6 months. Oh Jesus. Okay. Yeah. Still going with ankles.
Jeez, dude, this is just like the prostitute or cashier question.
Yep.
Oh, you'd rather be in pain for 6 months to a year than be, paralyzed.
You just won't let this one go. Eh? Yeah, fine. I want bring on the pain. I'm doing the pain.
Have you ever broken your ankles before?
No, I bet it's very painful.
It probably is. I've never done it though, so.
Okay, you're not speaking from experience.
No, I was just asking. All right. All right. Would you rather Eat through your butthole or shit through your mouth.
Eat through my butthole. I don't want to have to shit through my mouth.
I mean, either way, both of everything's going in and out in the same place.
Yeah, yeah. Eat through my. Yeah. I don't want to have to. Oh no, that's right. That's the problem with that one. Oh no. This is a
like,
horrible question.
like your taste buds are wherever, you know.
Yeah, where you're. That just seems like a flawed system to me. Whoever came up with that design, if that exists in nature, I mean, that shows there is no God. That's just evolution going in any direction it wants to. It doesn't give a shit.
Science, bitch.
Science, yeah, out of control. Science out of control. Eating in our buttholes and shitting out of them. My God. Let's shit out of my mouth then. There we go. Let's shit out of my mouth.
Okay. So you realize that regardless of where it is, you still taste everything.
Yeah, that's the kind of downer there.
All right. You got 2?
Yeah, I got 2. Let's go. Let's see. That's too easy. This is interesting. This probably gives a tough one for like the sort of lifestyle. Would you rather sit all day or stand all day?
I'd rather sit all day.
Yeah, you're a sitter.
Yeah, it's more comfortable. Your legs don't get tired. And, I mean, you can get blood clots standing in the same place just like you can sitting in the same place, so why not be comfortable while you're getting blood clots?
Okay. I guess the standing assumes it's like you could move around, but you're not allowed to move around. I guess you got to stand. Yeah, sitting maybe would be the way to go then. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Nah, actually I'm curious to see. I could talk. Would you rather be rich or be poor and find true love?
Well, I mean, alright, let's look at this long term. If you're rich, you have a family, you can support your family. If you're poor, you find true love, you have a family, your children, if you're living in low level housing and stuff like that, your children probably aren't going to have super great childhoods.
No, I've decided that this question is too easy for you. We have a new one for you. Would you rather have the head the size of a tennis ball or the head the size of a watermelon?
I mean, my head's already pretty big, so I'll pick the watermelon.
What about, would you rather have no penis or 5 penises?
5 penises, more work done.
All right, well, there it is. There it is.
I'm just too good at this.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
All right, so, you know, as usual, we always got to talk about gaming. What have you been playing lately, man?
I've been playing the DLC content for The Last of Us. That's what I've been doing some
that came with the remastered edition, eh?
And yeah, I've made it, I think, to the last engagement, and it's insane. You can just tell because I'm playing it again on Grounded that it's not giving you the same save points you would get in any other difficulty. So you got to beat the first group of guys that I beat in this section, and I thought I'd come to basically a checkpoint. I beat, I think, 7 or 8. And then another 6 of them show up after that. So you have to beat a total of like 15 guys, no death, on this difficulty before it will save the checkpoint for you. So it's insanely hard right now. So that's what I'm going through. See if I'll get it.
I still haven't even beaten that DLC yet. I played the first 20 minutes of it, and then I was like, you know, I don't really feel like playing The Last of Us right now. I mean, I just beat the game, and I'm like, fuck, I'm just too tired. I still haven't even gotten to it.
That's no, it's great, man. It's crazy. Like the what should we call it? The storytelling in it is so impressive. I kind of wondered, and then it seemed like it it hit me in the face, like as soon as it happened, is the two girls in it, right?
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, or watch my stream to see the whatchamacallit. Um Basically they turn out to have a little bit of a like a lesbian thing going on.
Well, I mean
And I was like,
that was kind of well known.
oh
From
man, I didn't I like it was funny because like when it was first like everything was happening, I was like, man, Ellie's biting her lips a lot around this girl, you know? There was like all these like weird little details where I was like, huh, that's weird. And then they do finally kiss and I was like, oh, holy shit. You know, they actually went there. But I thought I was like, wow, like talk about risque on 100 levels there where they're just appropriately aged enough, basically
Mhm.
where they're like, I don't know, what do they got to be, like 15 or something like that?
I have no
But
idea.
but they're like they're just old enough where it's like everybody's not going to lose their damn minds when this happens. And then not only that, but it's a lesbian thing. I was like, holy shit, these guys at Naughty Dog, they just don't give a fuck. Like they really I don't know. They're just like they are true storytellers. You know, they have an uncompromising vision. It was I was quite impressed by that.
Well, I mean, I feel like that was just to make you feel more for the character before she dies.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I mean it's that as well, but I was like what an interesting direction to take this, that they're not just friends, they're like kind of like they don't even understand it lovers. Like that I like too because when you see her do it, yeah, she's attracted to her and yeah, she's kind of like that, but I don't even know if she's like a full-blown lesbo or bisexual, but you could see how those sort of circumstances might lead to a relationship like that, you know, like the sort of prison relationship where they've grown up in such difficult surroundings that that one friend that they did have couldn't help but be her lover at the same time, but they didn't even know if that's what it was. She just feels so deeply for her that she kisses her.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was just it was interesting how like how many levels there were to that, because it wasn't like right away you were like, oh yeah, these two are lovers, if they had a chance they would bang. It was more like she was overwhelmed by her affection for her, which was like a loving affection, not just like some raw primal, you know, like physical thing going on, which
Yeah.
I thought was interesting. Yeah, so what are you playing?
A lot of Counter Strike. A
Oh, okay,
whole
right
lot
on.
of Counter Strike. I think in the last 2 weeks I put in close-ish to 200 hours.
Holy hell, that's remarkable. You must be quite good.
I mean, nah. I'm really bad at the game actually.
Oh, fair
I
enough.
really don't deserve whatever like all the ranks that I've gotten. But they changed the ranking system, so now I've D-ranked a fuck ton, and
Oh no.
it just made it a lot harder for me to be good at the game. I mean, like I'm above average, but I'm not like super duper fucking good at the game. I'm still classified as bad compared to the best players at the game.
Well, you know, it's a crazy depth of ability that you find on those things, you know. So I mean, it's tough to be at the top, and the pool is massive, right?
Oh yeah, a
So it's
couple few million people. No
yeah,
worries,
you
no
know,
big
so
deal though.
that's another thing, right? Yeah, the whole like when you go into professional sports, the actual pool of people you play against is in comparison quite small. Where when anyone can potentially be good at that, it makes it in a weird way almost like more competitive, you know, because everybody can train and everybody can get better.
Well,
Uh,
I feel like it's the same thing for sports though, because every time a new person is born, there that could be a potential prodigy in basketball or Counter Strike or anything.
but a genetic predisposition to athleticism is rarer than someone having the mental capacity to play a video game well.
Well, that's the thing though. Like what's so different between wanting to be a basketball player and wanting to play Counter Strike? It's all training. You can get good at basketball.
You can, but there's far more that would restrict you in your physicality, whereas you're freed when it's just your mind that's able to compete as opposed to your body. Where a lot of people actually, that's why I say it's based on that. The physical limitations of a professional athlete are not the same if you are a professional gamer. You know, that you look at a lot of these professional gamers and they're actually, you could tell that they would never make good athletes, right? Like they're already eliminated from that pool. They're not physically gifted in any way, shape, or form. So the pool is larger as a result of that.
You've never seen Counter-Strike players, my friend.
Oh, I'm sure that there's like
there.
lots of healthy, fit people too, but I
No,
mean, it's still.
I mean, there's a lot of players there's this one guy. His name is Olafmeister. He plays for one of the best teams in the world. When he was growing up, he was a soccer prodigy, and he was gonna go in. He was a sure shot to go into the Bundesliga or the BPL or something like that, into one of these big soccer leagues. But he ended up getting some sort of injury, and he got introduced to Counter Strike, and he found it was so much better. Then there's also these guys, Freakazoid and Pasha Biceps, Polish guy and American guy. They could totally they could play football right now. They have the height, the size, the muscle mass. They have the fitness level, and you can see it in them that they could be a professional athlete if they trained enough at the sport.
Okay, but I mean that makes them an even rarer occurrence, right? I'm talking about sports athletes are rarer than somebody who could be good at a video game. That's the point I'm making here.
Yeah, you have a good point, but I'm just saying if somebody trains enough at something, they can get really good at it.
They can, but it's still a more limited group that can get better at sports than there is for people who can play games and get good at them. Far more people can practice games and get good at them than people can practice sports and get good enough to compete competitively.
Well, I guess we'll have to agree to disagree there.
You think it's equal numbers of people that could play sports and get to a competitive level than somebody who would play video games?
I mean, you don't need to be 7 foot tall to be in the NBA. You don't even need to be 6 foot tall to be in the NBA. There's been so many NBA players that are super short that are shorter than 5'5" that have been in the NBA. There are hockey players right now that are shorter than 5'9" that are in the NHL. You can literally do any sport that you want. You can play any game that you want. If you train enough in it, you'll become great at it. There are probably going there might be some things where, physically you're born with a disorder or whatever where you can't do that, but you can play video games.
I just fail to see how when the mandatory physical the requirement physically to play a video game is to hold a controller and use it, whereas when you have so much more going on to play a game, why do you think more people play games than play sports? Why do you think like the call of so many people playing games is, "Oh, I wasn't really that athletic"? Like,
well, that's the thing. They weren't that athletic because they never tried. I mean,
oh man, I feel like this is just like, I don't know.
People got
this seems like a no-brainer.
People got great at gaming because either, they really were into gaming, or they were lazy, or they were injured.
It's easy to access. Yeah, it's easy to access. You like. Sports are, I mean, although you could argue like soccer is a different story.
Sports are way cheaper to do than gaming is. Gaming is a it takes a few $1,000s to get super into gaming. You can go to the store and buy a soccer ball for $20 at Walmart.
Yeah, but the actual to continue sports competitively is quite expensive. To go to tournaments, to play with a team, to afford the cost of playing in a varsity level team.
It's the same thing for professional gaming. You have to pay for your trips. You have to pay for your room and board. You have to pay for all these different things to go to these big tournaments, and there's still a chance that you won't get paid at the end of these tournaments.
I suppose that's true on that level of it.
But
I mean the base level of practice. The base level of practice.
The base level.
I don't know. Accessibility to practice games is far in excess.
It's still a 10,000-hour commitment to become a professional gamer.
Yeah, that's an interesting topic. I feel like we should touch on this again with greater statistics. Like how many people, playing like I say, I mean, it just seems like the number of people could have access and play video games. When I play Destiny, I compete against like you said, hundreds of thousands of people who play that game. If you go to play basketball, I mean, the most that you could compete it with in your local area is like a couple hundred.
Well, no,
Even
I only have a
that's
couple
another
hundred people
example
in my
too.
local area.
That's another example as well, is where if I want to play Destiny, I can go against the best of the best of the best of the best and bring up my ability playing against them easily. And so you usually, I mean, you would improve your ability, I would say, faster versus more difficult opponents. I think that's a pretty obvious, that's known or accepted maybe.
But is it not? Is it
And
not the same way if you wanna if you're somebody that's playing sports and you're going up against somebody that's of a higher level than you, you're not going to get better when you try and play them?
exactly. My point is that with games you have access to that easily, whereas in sports you don't. You being able to compete with the top level athletes is usually something saved for top level athletes, where if you are a gamer, you could potentially play against some of the best gamers in the world by just going on and playing on whatever service it is that connects you to another gamer. And so you can train with higher level athletes in your field much more easily. Also, raising the bar on how difficult it would be, or what the depth of ability would be in that thing.
Well, but I still don't understand, because in gaming you can't send a message to the best Destiny player in the world and say, "Hey, let's play. I want to get better." Because there's probably so many people that are doing that, he doesn't have the time to do that.
No,
It's
but
basic,
like, for example,
it's a basic progression system. You climb the
in
ladder.
yeah, you climb the ladder, but the ladder is there for you to climb. Like StarCraft 2, if you get better and better, you'll eventually get into Grandmaster League and you'll play consistently with the best players in the world. Whereas if I want to get better and play against the better people in the world in, say, soccer or football, depending on where you're from, what you would call it, I can't do that unless I have this massive, massive commitment of time and area and like whatever else to move around and do that. Where a StarCraft player, if I got better and I trained in my house, I would never need to go anywhere or do anything different than playing the game in my home and accessing the internet to become better at it. You see the difference there?
Not really. I feel
The
like
access.
it's the same. It's the same amount of commitment.
No, one requires you to do something like travel, and yeah, to travel, basically to travel and to succeed in all these different like tournaments that would require you to travel. Whereas you don't have to do that with StarCraft. You can do it all from your house and never have to travel and end up playing the best players in the world.
Yeah, but you're never going to make a living at that if you just stay in your house and play the best players in the world. You're going to get better, but
I'm talking about ability. I'm talking about what shapes the depth of skill in the field.
okay, but
Anyone can have access to that highest level of ability, which would then turn you into one of those players. Whether or not you go around and compete is beside the point. I'm talking about depth of skill in the field that you're playing in.
yeah, but you're never going to have access to that ability if if you don't actually try and compete with those people at the highest level.
But you can get into Grandmasters League and play against them all the time. You can do that.
No, because there's all these private servers that these people go play on, and
They play on
practice
Grandmaster server. They'll play on the Korean server, Grandmaster server.
in StarCraft.
Yeah, so like in
StarCraft,
StarCraft
StarCraft esports is barely making a comeback. I'm mainly talking about Counter-Strike. In Counter-Strike, all these professional players are playing on private servers, and it's a slim to none chance that you're ever going to play them unless you're on the same level as them and you're playing them in some sort of major tournament. And it's the same thing with professional sports. You're never going to you're never going to play the best until you climb the ladder. Go through high school, get scouted to go to college. From college, go to maybe a farm team, and then from that farm team, get brought up to the big leagues.
I think to say that StarCraft isn't a good example of esports is not fair.
No, I'm not saying that StarCraft isn't a good example of esports. I'm saying with the times now, specifically now, it's not a good example because
Why?
there isn't that kind of player base anymore. There isn't as many players as there used to be. StarCraft used to have a colossal player base, and at least a colossal player base of really really good players, and now that base of good players is all that's left in StarCraft.
I don't know. It seems to have a huge following. It seems like the best players are constantly having thousands of people to watch them. The big events that go on have many thousands of people, larger than stadiums, watching them.
But you're comparing thousands to millions of people that watch Counter-Strike and tens of millions of people that watch League of Legends.
And in League of Legends, there isn't a sort of progressional system similar to StarCraft. You can't, as a good team, play against these best players.
There is. I'm not really super knowledgeable about League of Legends. I just know that there's this ranking system. I'm not sure how often the professional League of Legends players play on the highest rank that there is, and I know it's really hard to get to that highest rank. And it's a giant commitment to get to that highest rank to actually play those people.
And you could do it from the comfort of your home without having to travel. And with the basic investment, I mean, League of Legends, as we've said, runs on a potato. So you wouldn't even have... I mean, some of the best League of Legends players played on old, CRT monitors and stuff. It doesn't even have the technical requirements of a more advanced game.
Yeah, well, neither does Counter-Strike. But I mean,
I guess
it's still the time commitment, though.
My base point at the beginning of all of this was that there are more people playing video games, and there's an incredible depth of ability that you're going to find there. So when you compete in a pool of millions, that it's going to be very difficult. And then by that, you would have just pure numbers, more people who are good at video games than are really good at sports. That's my original point, but I do enjoy that we've had a
that was a good little debate there.
Yes, that was nice. Yeah. But you're wrong. You're wrong. Fuck you.
I mean, I disagree.
Well, that's good. That's good. All right, shall we end on that note then?
Yeah, I guess that's a show.
Okay.
All right, good note to end on for those of you that watched the whole show. So Pluggerinos. You go first, of course.
Oh, sure. Check out TheGreatOwl. Check out Dave Trippin. Those are both my YouTube channels. Follow me on Twitter at davetrippinon. And on either one of those channels, you have access to all the different social media I use. So get on board, check out the stuff, comment, like, subscribe, and I hope to catch you guys in the next video or podcast or whatever it is that you find us.
Don't forget about Twitch.
Oh, yeah, and I'm streaming on Twitch. The Great Owl D is in David. The Great Owl D. That's where you'll find me, and that's, again, accessible from my YouTube channel, or just if you got an account on Twitch, find me there.
All right.
I'll be streaming. Oh, and I'll be streaming soon. I was so bummed out to see it's not released yet. Because it got so thrown under the bus and out of the radar, I'm going to stream the new Tomb Raider when it comes out for PS4. But it bummed me out. It's not out yet for it. It was an exclusive release for the Xbox, and so is coming in 2016. But when it does, I'll be streaming it live.
Yeah, it's probably not even going to be out till, May.
Damn it.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be super, it's just going to be done by that time. They're probably going to start announcing the newest one after that's released.
Brutal.
Yeah.
But I'm going to still stream it.
I mean, hey, you do you. But you guys, of course, if you're watching this on my channel, be sure to click that subscribe button down below. Also, follow me on Twitter at PladdyPunk. If you guys want to get partnered on YouTube, be sure to, and you want to go through network, be sure to click the first link down in the description, which is my reference link, which will send you to the same network that I am with. And if you sign up using that link, I get a commission because you joined by clicking on my link. But yeah, guys, that's the show. That is the Great Potato Podcast, episode 6. We're halfway to 10. or more than halfway to 10. Math, numbers, good at those. But yeah, guys, nevertheless, it's been your Plaid. I enjoy potatoes. And peace out, motherfuckers.
Peace.